What's up, YouTube? Hope you're all having a fantastic afternoon. Got a pretty awesome league for you today. We're playing through some Esper FrogTide. No Riddler, no Oculus, just straight up Frogs, Murktide, Kaito, Tamiyo, Bowmaster, like the real fun to play side of the Dimir tempo spectrum. But anyway, we are splashing white for the pest controls out of the sideboard for Affinity and Boros. Spoiler alert, we've run into both of those this league. But go ahead and drop a follow if you're enjoying the content and the commentary. Maybe leave a like, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Other than that, go ahead and jump into it and showcase some of these frogs. First preordained before fourth Tamiyo seems criminal. Why? Windswept Heath. What does that say to me? Could be Boros. Turn one Tamiyo means your opponent's playing your game. Turn one preordained is a bit of a throwaway play. Not an open deck list. Like, you keep skipping this open deck list point. I don't care about testing for the blind game one on the play Magic Online meta. I only care about getting my list up to the point for the paper RC where everything's open deck list, in which case preordain is helping to find the stuff that I want to find in any match that I know ahead of time, where I already know what I'm looking for. So attack in. They go to block with a cat token. Do you like the one of Spell Pierce and open deck list? And they always have to be thinking about playing around it. I don't like any funny one-ofs or any gotcha one-ofs in like any open deck list scenario. I think it's personally just like a waste of a slot. You have a good proactive game one game plan with Thoughtseize, Frog, Tamiyo, Kaito, whatever the case may be. I don't think you want to mess that up by just like running a one of Spell Pierce over something more impactful. And go ahead and get Tamiyo flipped. How'd you end up? We ended up 3-2 that league. Our Eldrazi opponent in round 5 hit all 4 Eldrazi temples and just started hard casting like Heracast and Emrakul the Promised End off of that. It was kind of brutal. All right. I assume this is just going to be hit Tamiyo for 1 and then like flage down the Tamiyo or discharge down the Tamiyo. What were the overall thoughts on trajectory and no Kaito? Mistaken, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome everybody from Mistaken Stream. Hope you had an awesome time. Tragic Trajectory was easier to get online than I thought it was going to be, but still like was not online as often as I wanted it to be. Ranger Captain, sure. Not having Kaito kind of hurt. There were definitely a lot of times I was like, man, a Kaito would be super nice here. Needless to say, I did not have Kaito during those times. Could just fatal push this Ranger Captain. Mike making some weird noises. What kind of weird noises? It's probably picking up the fan in the background. I'm gonna go turn that off. Okay, how's that? Unfortunately, this mic is just like super, super sensitive. I wish I knew why this one was just like so gung-ho, but is what it is. The other one, I've got like a pop filter on it, so it's a little bit easier to maintain. But see what you got. Let's just discard double snare here. I know one of their cards is an Ocelot Pride, which at the moment I don't really care about. They could go for Flage, like spend some energy on discharge, then try to Flage. I can counterspell and then just buy back the counterspell if I want. My diddlers are finally here. Yeah. Did you get the diddlers at a reduced price? Or like, what are they at the moment? MTG player. Quantum Riddler. Quantum Diddles. They're still in like the 20 to 30, depending on what printing. Yeah, 60 for 3 seems reasonable. Pest controls, I want Spell Bomb, Stern Scolding. Here, Harbinger. Drop some Thought Seizes. Drop a couple Tamios. I think I decided last time that I was trimming Kaito more aggressively and keeping Thought Seizes in more aggressively. Maybe that changes some on the draw. $80-ish on Magic Online will look, they come down. They will eventually. It's probably not going to be in the near future. But they absolutely will eventually. Please, opponent, I ask you very, very kindly to not have a turn 1 Ragavan. I feel that is a reasonable request. Our spell is pretty good pickup. Force is good in the energy matchup. Yeah, Force can hit stuff like Goblin Bombardment, Static Prison, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Showdown of the Scalds, Galvanic Discharge. Every now and then Thraben Charm, but that one doesn't matter quite as much. Do have Bowmasters in this list. Blood Moon. Like, energy is very much a red-white mid-range deck that has got like some good aggressive synergies that go on, but they still have a lot of non-creature aspects that are kind of nice to be able to target. Playlist is kind of a banger. If you're on 2-color, I don't think you're worried about Blood Moon. You absolutely are. Like, Blood Moon means I'm not getting value out of my Surveil lands. I'm not able to fetch efficiently. And even right here, like, at no point could I get a basic swamp. So it's definitely not a free thing by any means. Choose to keep my Tameo around since I've got the Spell Bomb. Okay. Hmm. I think I'm gonna look for another land. That's pretty good. And I do have to go ahead and spellbomb now. Like, I could spellbomb on their upkeep, but I have to spellbomb before their main phase, or else I risk them just like sacking the static prison, not paying for it, and immediately getting to escape the flage, and I don't get a priority opportunity. And your captain for a pride. Yep. It's really good. I take some damage here, but probably worth it. So I could go ahead and double Bowmaster down the Guide of Souls so that they wouldn't be able to potentially put the counters on the Ranger Captain. But I think I'm fine just like letting them put the counters on the Ranger Captain, wiping away everything else, and then having the Bowmaster having the Murktide outgrow the Ranger Captain in the air. We're just gonna go ahead and take out this pride. Block, block, block. We ain't saving nothing round here. Mike Ross Inc. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Dude, you say it's dead and they're about to Thraben Charm plus Discharge and save the guide. I've never been so sure of anything in my life. Okay. Sweet. Let us get down the Murktide. Don't think there's a benefit to trying to get too crazy with ninjutsuing in the army token. So I'm about to get back the Tamiyo anyway. So I can just ninjutsu that. Guide of Sizzles. Go ahead and use this counter spell before they realize they can sack Ranger Captain. Scoop lag. No scoop lag. All right, so attack. Jutsu and Kaito. Hit you for 9. I think we are gonna zero the Kaito. Probably fine. Play Tamiyo, say go. They like get back Spyro, get a couple tokens, and we can pest control to wipe the board. I think they realize that they're like putting themselves dead to FrogTide. Not actually. They'd gain 2, go up to 7, but you don't get to fly the guy. You don't get Kaito off the board. It's 2-0 against Energy on the day. You still won, but would flipping Tamiyo there not be an option? You mean cycling the pest control? No, because I would have to fetch and shock to cycle the pest control. I'd have to fetch and shock to crack the clue too. I don't want to fetch and shock down to 4. So I'd rather just like fetch up a surveil into turn. Is an affinity fun? Are we having fun? All right. Do we think that they've got, or they can't metallic rebuke here? Okay, sweet. Sweet. No metallic rebuke for you. Gonna get milling double Urza's Saga though is kind of hilarious. Force pitch Kappa. Ugh. Honestly, I'd probably rather have that, because then Bowmaster could maybe kill Emery off a bobble trigger. Don't have a Kappa, don't have a Kappa, don't have a Kappa. Just pass through the turn. Just pass through. Son of a bitch. All that just to still get Kappa'd. Literally almost asked if you should Thoughtseize over killing Emery in case of Kappa. I mean, if I Thoughtseize Kappa, they can Emery it back. So it doesn't really matter either way, right? Oh no, shit. Made me forget that I wasn't supposed to do that. All right, lock in, lock in, lock in. Can we chump while it's not unblockable? Well, I've got counter spells to hopefully fight over some artifact ETBs. Like, hey, look, the turtle's not unblockable this turn. Fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. What do you do? You do anything? I do have a Betrayal and a Shieldred's Edict in the deck. So I've got outs to Kappa, assuming they don't hit anything else relevant ever. But I've got to get the Ornithopter off the board first. Are you just like ripping all of the Kappas? My guy, calm down. It's not that serious. I hate giving up Bowmaster here. It's like if opponent top decks a Thought Monitor or a Thought Cast or something, that would be a really good way to get Ornithopter off the board. That's really good for you. What, them casting Kappa Cannoneer? It's not really good for me because I need them to not hit anything so I can crack clues to try to find Fatal Push and Edict Effect. I don't need my mana getting jammed up by needing to counter stuff. They had anything else you would die? I wouldn't though. Like if they cast another Mox Opal and gave this Kappa Cannoneer unblockable and attacked in, that's fine. Like I take a hit, I'm still alive, I still have another chump block turn. Plus counterspell in hand. But when they cast something that I have to counterspell and it eats up my mana, that's not good for me. Hold. Hold, brothers, hold. No shot. No shot. Okay. Discard. What? Discard Harbinger. But Harbinger could be good if they find another Saga. I think I'm discarding Frog. No, I'm discarding Harbinger. Thoughtseize, check for Force or Rebuke. They were trying to set up for next turn lethal with the Kappa. They were trying to set up for the 2-turn kill. So if we can get a turn off. So if we could get a turn off, we could flip the Tamiyo, get down our other Frog, draw another card off our clue, and have the ability to rebuy Strategic Betrayal again, or Counterspell, whatever. Whew. Yeah, it was a pretty aggressive block on their side. I don't think to the point of just like, oh my god, super wrong. I can't believe they did that. Ha 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 ha, bad block. But just definitely could have chosen not to block there and been fine. That how I'm boarding. Trail in, pest controls in, couple consigns. Bell snares out, Stern Scolding out on the draw. Storm, no. Spell Bomb. Kind of want Spell Bomb for Emery. It's not incredibly obvious for them not to block, but they should probably realize our only out is an edict, though. I would pretty much agree with that. Holding's probably still better than Force Negation, right? Even though I draw, absolutely not. Force Negation is way, way, way better, especially on the draw. Like hitting Mox, hitting the 1 mana, the 1 white, exile a 2 CMC portable hole, hitting Springleaf Drum off like an Ornithopter start or something. Like your entire game plan is trying to slow the game down enough for something like pest control to come into play. This hand's... I know it's got pest control, but I don't think I can afford to... They're probably on Pinnacle Emissary. I don't know if they're on Portable Hole, but we saw Steam Vents. We saw Red. But I still think that having... I still think that having Force is better. My impression of Force Negation was that it only hits Thoughtcast and Opal, which seems kind of thin for me lately. I mean, hitting Opal is still really, really good. Like, again, your entire game plan here is just trying to slow the game down so that pest control can, like, wipe up for you. All right, so they did put Emery on top. Also, Emery makes this pest control start so much worse, which sucks. Like, I can pest control right here, and they still get another card off Bobble. They lose the Opal, but they can just start Emerying back stuff. Like, it's not really even setting things back much. Maybe they F6. Nope. I'll get a Murktide down next turn. What are the odds opponent top decked a Metallic Rebuke? Okay. Still need to get this Emery off the board, or they're just going to start, like, rebuying Thought Monitor and Chump Block every turn. Or they're just going to Thought Monitor right here. Why? 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. Am I missing something? Couldn't they have just thought monitored right there? Reduced by 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems like a punt. Not a punt, like they're kind of ahead. But like this game right here is why I don't bring in Stern Scolding on the draw. Because like it does nothing into turn 1 Emery. You kind of have to have Fatal Push or something like that. That's why I think Force Negation especially is a lot better. Like if we had Force Negation instead of Subtlety on turn 1, it could have just forced the Opal. They wouldn't have been able to cast Emery. I also have no idea why they're going down this, like, I guess we're just dead to Saga. Doesn't really matter. I don't know why they were going down this, like, Bauble Opal route instead of just replaying Thought Monitor a bunch. But I think I was thinking of the matchup wrong, but I was thinking Scoldings are good to deal with top deck Emery, Tameo, Thought Monitors once you stabilized. Should have brought, yeah, I should have brought them back in on the play. The problem is, like, you need to answer the early game stuff to have a chance to stabilize. And you can't, like, bog down your game plan with stuff to do late game and just lose to the early stuff. And I think that's kind of what happens with stuff like Stern Scolding on the draw. Got to dismember. Let's take a dismember and O-Wing top deck something. Top deck to Mishra's Bauble. Perfect. Okay, so they get Saga down this turn. They're going to go ahead and fire off the Bauble. They have Double Reef. No. All right, so 2 blind draws for Lava Spur, Thought Cast. Edict is really, really good if I find a pest control and need to sweep up like a Kappa Cannoneer afterwards. All right, I'm gonna keep that. Kind of hope that I can fatal push the Ornithopter or something and be able to find, like, maybe they go land, tap out for Kappa, and I can like fatal push the Ornithopter, Shieldred's Edict the Kappa or something. Another Springleaf is fine. The Mimnite's fine. Do not counter Saga on 2. No, I don't think I need to counter Saga on 2 at the moment because I've got Fatal Push. I've got Bowmaster Chump Block, and I've got a whole bunch of pest controls to draw to. And I've got Murktide. We'll see how it goes. Need to find a pest control. Does it matter which one I push? Not really. But I want to do it inside of combat so they don't get access to the mana. I'm going to keep this Bowmaster around for a turn. They have 3 mana anyway. Well, if they have Metallic Rebuke, yes. But if it's something besides Metallic Rebuke, then they don't. I definitely do have to consign this Saga on too. Is there any world that I want to Kaito here? Well, I wasn't stunning the token. I was thinking of Kaito to dig for pest control. Stunning the token doesn't really do anything for me here. Yeah, all I'm doing at this point is considering digging for pest control. If I surveil, I can't counterspell. I could subtlety. No, I just need to go for counterspell here. I think we fire off Shieldred's Edict now. Why? Is that accomplishing for us? Well, they can just sack the... Or no, it's creature token. We could... I don't really mind where we're at, though. Like, am I just firing off Murktide here? What are they getting off of Saga? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That resolved awfully fast. Like, I don't think they have a Metallic Rebuke. I guess they could draw into one. Needle Delta's fine. Like, if they waste their fetch going to get a Needle, I think I'm okay with that. They didn't get Shadow Spear, so now it's like the onus is on them to get the Murktide off the battlefield. Pinnacle Emissary. So let's respond to this. With Edict. We'll Subtlety off Kaito. If they want to put this on top. Emissary on the bottom. Bobble Grab has to be a punt. Well, I don't really know what they're getting. Like, if they don't have, what's it called? If they don't have the Shadow Spear, which it's entirely possible they don't have, then there's not like a lot of good hits there. Like I said, the game is just find and resolve pest control. Like, nothing else matters in this match. Find pest control, make sure it resolves, and make sure it's like not you getting overwhelmed by Kappa Cannoneer, Thought Monitor, whatever else before you get to resolve the pest control. Not that that's like the easiest thing in the world to accomplish consistently, but it's just like percent down here if you don't cast pest control and like percent way up here if you do. Yeah, I really don't know what the current affinity lists are looking like. I know I saw a bunch a week or two ago that were like on Lava Spur boots and no Shadow Spear. I don't know if that's the norm. I don't know if there's like a affinity Discord that has a unanimous decision. Because, like, I also didn't see any copies of Cranial Plating out of them. I think the Kaitos have to be worse than extra Consign Scolding in the matchup. Scolding, probably. Consign's pretty not great. Like, it's okay. It's got some spots it can do a little something, but overall, like, the card's pretty mid. But what I've found is that, like, I've had games against Affinity where I will resolve a pest control and then just not have any sort of clock to follow it up. So I just kind of keep a pseudo critical mass of threats in, just to make sure that once I get to pest control, I do have something to follow it up. Psychic Frog. Oh boy. Go away. That's pretty good. Is firing that off better than Counterspell Hold Up Force? Like, what am I most afraid of here? Land Hardcast Oculus. I could Thoughtseize. They could have a Persist or an Unearth. Worst case scenario would be Thoughtseize. They have Oculus, Persist / Unearth, and Thoughtseize. Unearth, Emperor, Looting. Take my Thoughtseize. Let's get Fatal Push would be key. Pass it back. I really hope they just main phase 1 Faithless Looting. How about a Murktide? Oh, Counterspell. Got it. Am I force of negationing a Faithless Looting? Seems kind of mid. I feel like if I had a Murktide or something in hand already, I probably would, but sure. Not gonna level that up right now, so If they'd let me just hard cast Force of Negation on this Faithless Looting, I will 100% take that. Go ahead and take you out. All right, so Fatal Push, Unknown, Unknown. Kind of feel like one of these unknowns is a what's it called? A Archon. Okay, threat, please. One of your finest threats. They're Oculus. Should have been more specific about my threat. I call for a threat. Yeah, Murktide. Okay. I can kind of work with that. Push, yep. But do you have second push? Okay. Love to see a Kaito resolve. Let's dig for a fetch land. Because I know they still have an Oculus in hand. Beware the top deck looting and to draw Persist Archon. I will do everything I can to play around the line that I literally can't do anything to play around. Be aware of your opponent doing the thing that you can't do anything about. Yep. Such is life, dingo. Yeah. It's gonna happen. A fatal push after or Undercity resolve after I fatal push because I want to know if this is resolving before I do anything. We'll just go emblem. Back in. I want to make sure the Bowmaster ping is on lethal and I'm not giving them outs of like have double removal spell end of turn to kill off my Bowmaster and the token. I don't get any damage in, then like zero the Kaito or something. Now, I will say that Strategic Betrayal has been like the most fantastic card into these decks, because being able to take out a frog plus exile it, plus they can't discard in response. You just get to like hit the frog in its entire lineage, hit the graveyard late. Really, really good. Subtlety's a little mid. Edict, I think's a little mid. Probably bored out of Kaito, but the Juzam Jin 94, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Appreciate you coming around and hanging out. Please don't thought seize me. It's not casting a thought seize. Could have a spell pierce here. Also feel Moto lagging pretty bad. Spell pierce. The old spell pierce into tapped Raucous Theater, eh? Please don't stern scolding me. Sweet. Kind of rude. Sure. Land is good. I think I'm just gonna pass here. I could play out the frog, but I kind of like the idea of counterspell in case they do have like looting persist, or I've got fatal push if they've got hardcast and Oculus. And if they do nothing, I can flash in Bowmasters. I mean, I'm a fan of the things that Kaito does. Might not be Kaitoing this turn, but in general, I approve of the things he stands for. Opponent does nothing. Do they have like unearths in hand? Can't get troll into the, or can't unearth troll. I think best case scenario for me would be Emperor of Bones, exile their own troll. And I get to just like EOT, Fatal Push the Emperor, untap. Take that back. That's probably not the best plan. Is that an Archon? That is an Archon. Tell what any of these cards are. This is just hard cast. Oculus. What is that artwork? The Archon. This is like the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. I hate everything about it. Nope, go back. I hate the formatting. The colors are okay. It's a little too bright on the name for my taste, but like, what is going on? I hate the formatting on the mana cost. Why is the keyword up here with the mana cost? It's just ugh. All around ugh. One, two, three, four, five, six. So not quite at hard cast Archon mana. I don't believe there's an instant speed reanimate effect, but this would be my time to learn. Could have ninjutsu'd in Kaito and put him down to 1, but I'd rather not do that in case they do end up having a way to get an Archon into play. Never mind, should have put him down to 1. What was I thinking? But I called the Unearth. And this was the exact problem I had when I tried to run this Grixis Reanimator list, is I kept having hands with like Unearths, with Troll and Archon and stuff in the yard, or I'd finally find my Persist and just never see an Archon. So I'm having to persist back like an Emperor of Bones or something, or persist back a 0/1 Frog. I just like could not get the 2 halves of the deck to line up the right way. I would love to play first. Opponent last seen, is it Prowess 9 days ago? Well, let's put that to the test. Should have restarted Moto after that last round. Whoops. Gotta stay hydrated. Oh, maybe opponent went to take a nap. All right. Pass through. I would like to find my second land without having to fire off Preordain. No, my Preordain. Altsies. Got ourselves a mirror match. Time to ready Bogles. What's the reasoning there? Why we Bogles gaming? Also worst land in the deck to draw with Murktide. Just like tired of people fatal pushing crabs. Nah, I respect it. Tide. Not taking my Murktide. Please give me a land. Give me an untapped blue source for just like the punish. Could have been better. Hate that you can't undo that. I would prefer to keep the fatal push under the fetch land so that I could fetch it away if need be, but then keep it on top if they have something that I need to get rid of. Could be Reanimator. Because I haven't really seen anything at the moment to make me believe 100% it's one or the other. I guess Raucous Theater should give away that it's Grixis Reanimator. Why is everybody on these hideous Archons? This is why we can't have nice things. Because we like them. Who is we? And why are we wrong? Just like aggressively wrong, because these things are awful. Like, I'm sure it's just a situation that people are either buying the deck and this is like the cheapest printing, which makes a lot of sense because it's terrible, or people are renting and this is the copy that like Mana Traders has the most of because they're cheap as shit, because they're awful. See a pattern forming here? Okay, am I playing out Harbinger here? Or not Harbinger, but Murktide? No. So you're saying I don't like that art? I hate this art. I think this is just like absolutely terrible. You're being facetious. Fair. All right, I need to draw Spell Snare, Force of Negation, not Counterspell. Really do anything for me. I'm not cracking fetch. It's not the first time I've played a game of Magic the Gathering. contrary to popular belief. So here, if they get an Archon, I sack the Bowmaster, they go to 8, they still have to chump block my Murktide. And if they end up having another one, I can flash in Subtlety to chump block that, or to sack Subtlety off instead of my Murktide and get another attack and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm boarding Harbinger out, but what is the general consensus for Harbinger against Grixis? I know that they play Harbinger sometimes, and they can use it to like cheat out a Harbinger to unearth or persist against Tron or whatnot. But in a fair matchup where they're not bringing in Harbinger and likely to be like getting surveils early, is the chance of cutting them off black or red worth it, or is it just like overthinking, not happening enough? Depends who you play against. Usually the case, yeah. Not worth it against them. Not even if you have like something else you'd rather get out of your deck. No, don't take this line. Don't take this line. I understand the appeal, but it's just like not worth it. As it could end up being worth it here. All right, I need you to not top deck an untapped black source. No untapped black source. Did they just Thoughtseize themselves? They 100% did just Thoughtseize themselves because they have triple unearth effect. So they're just like relying on one of these resolving. But they didn't have double black source. They still don't have double black source. So we're hoping that we can dodge another top deck black source and I can get away with like counterspell one, Thoughtseize the other, and go from there. Or they top deck Spell Pierce. Get out of here. All right. What's my plan from here? I Thoughtseize the persist, but hopefully they won't be able to get a third arc or a third did I miss something here? Dude, I hate Moto. So what happened is they Thoughtseized themselves and it showed the Oculus over here that they put in the graveyard. So I was like concerned about them putting too many cards in the yard for them to be able to hard cast another Oculus. And just didn't need to be concerned over that. Top deck Fatal Push. All right, so I need a Fatal Push of my own. Would be kind of clutch. Sorry, best I can do is a Dark Slick Shores. I don't think... A little late, aren't you? Is there any benefit to just attacking with Murktide here? Like if I go attack with Murktide, they say no blocks. I Bowmaster, shoot them. Murktide attack, put them down to 8. Strategic Betrayal. I'm just dead to like Oculus plus Frog in the air. All right, so we're gonna shoot a token. I'm gonna assume one of these is gonna flip up into another Oculus. Have to block the Frog or I die. Yeah, they shouldn't have let me block the Frog, but that's probably what they're saying in chat. Yep, he said oops. They just clicked into combat a little too aggressively. But at the end of the day, I don't think it mattered too much because I would have needed like a lot of extra power that I didn't have. Reanimator's easy to play, saves mental energy. It all just kind of comes down to like what your goal is for playing, right? Like if your goal is to prepare for something, then easy to play is not really the ideal metric. But if your goal is like, I want to win some event, then it'd be worth it. I'm gonna force off Kaito. Ways off this Kaito. I could potentially use Tamio finding clues to get back in. All right, come on. Land. Land. Spoiler, it was not a land. It is actually related. What? Preparing and playing a deck because it requires less mental energy? How do you figure? Made this mistake of pushing Tamio myself. Always do it on their turn. Wouldn't say always, but like opponents tapped out, make them have the force isn't the worst plan. I'm just gonna pass through with counterspell and snare. They have like fetch, surveil, put 6 cards in the yard, hard cast Oculus. I've got counterspell up. They just have land persist emperor, so be it. Unearth the frog. I'll let them discard some cards into the frog if they want. Be happy with this. Especially if I can find a fatal push. This is a 3/4 potential to get to a 4/5, draw for turn 5/6. We could try to frog v frog. What are the odds that they have a fatal push? Probably just like another unearth effect. No. I don't know if they necessarily would have pushed Tamiyo because they had 2 dead lands in hand. So they could just like freely discard the land, save the push for something else. Not really anything wrong with saving the removal or saving the interaction. I assume they're attacking. Okay. We are 100% doing this. That's dead. That's dead. Do you want to discard, or are we just fine like bouncing frogs off each other? Or do I want to? You know what? I'll make you discard more. Do not. So do you just have like Persist Archon? This is Oculus. Okay. Oculus on Earth. I could start with Betrayal. See if they would exile to the frog before it resolves. I could also just like attack. Are they going to triple block if I attack? They have no cards in hand. They have to, right? Like if I just don't fly the frog and attack, they either triple block. They could choose to not block at all. But that gives me a chance at hitting like a Murktide. There's no reason to block with Oculus and Psychic Frog, or just Oculus and Psychic Frog, because I could double discard plus draw a card. Five, six, seven, eight. Seven. No block. They could give me a chance of drawing into a Murktide. I think they should have thrown that manifest under the bus like 100% of the time. There's just like zero reason not to chump with the manifest. All right, so now if I lead with Strategic Betrayal, they have to respond with Jump the Frog. If they don't, then I get to jump my frog, or I get to like force the chump anyway. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I can just jump the frog, attack with both. It's very possible one's another Oculus. Okay. And I'm never playing around something like Sink into Stupor here. They didn't jump the frog. They punted blockers there. You have to jump the frog before going to declare blockers, or you can't block. And I think they went to declare blockers without jumping the frog. So they would have been giving up the Oculus for free. They couldn't manifest one of these. So they had another frog. They couldn't manifest these after blockers, or after they went to the declare blocker step. They couldn't jump the frog. So they're just like giving up the Oculus. I get to draw a card. Opponent last seen a day ago on Zoo. Can't lose 100% record if you never play. Big brain moves. Opponent mold. I believe we are as well. If this was a fetch land, I would really consider keeping. Speaking about winning, what deck do you think gives the best chance of making day 2 at regionals? Best chance of making day 2 in general, I'd probably give to like Belcher. I would just like never bet against Belcher. Gives a lot of free wins. All right, so opponent has no land. Just gonna fetch Shock Thoughtseize. Imri, Lurker of the Lock, and Thoughtcast. Take an Imri. Nice. Where's ZKG? I need to talk some shit about Force and Negation against Affinity. I got some mad shit to talk. Imru is the right choice. The top deck blue source lets him cast it. They need multiple draw steps for Thoughtcast. I agree. And like those multiple top decks have to be mana sources specifically, which makes it even worse because that means they're not drawing like anything to play out to the board, or they're not drawing Kappa Cannoneers and stuff like that. They're just drawing mana sources. But Imri, if I already had a Fatal Push, I'd take the Thoughtcast. But since I didn't run the risk of Imri flipping over some crucial piece and making life miserable, and just don't want to deal with that. So I am on the draw. No more Riddlers. Well, I'm just trying out non-Riddler. I think that like the matchups Riddler's really good against are stuff like Blink, and I just haven't been running into much Blink. Good old turn 1 Saga. Ah. You tell me, is that an okay turn 1? Turn 1 Saga, Opal, Cranial Plating. Turn 2 second land. I think that I like Titan, but I do not have enough experience with it, and it's a really complex deck. I don't think it's nearly as complex as it used to be. Still really good. It's definitely a solid choice to take, but 2025 Titan is definitely not like 2019 Titan. You're so dead. Depends. There's chances, but we need, you know, second land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, if I don't see second land, we're definitely dead. If I do, then we're only probably dead. Oh boy. Let's push here. They did put Thought Monitor on top. So if they put this on top over the Thought Monitor, which they do, and I hit a land, mother. Dude, we put a fight in there for a 1 land mulligan. Like, 1 land and Murktide could stand in front of a cranial plating ornithopter. Then we could have Stern Scolding the Thought Monitor and maybe found something. Sorry, that's on me. All your fault. Just 100%. How dare you? Could be pretty good. Like, this hand is really, really good at stalling and buying some time. I just don't know if it's good enough to, like, win the game because I'm on the play and I don't have Frog or Merc or anything. But I've got, like, answer to Emery, answer to Saga, answer to most fast starts. Opponent's on a mulligan. This is kind of funny how similar this is to my last match against Affinity, where it's just like take a Dismember and immediately top deck a Frog and kind of went haywire from there. This Kappa is a ways off. I think I'm following suit. I think I'm taking Dismember, let them have the drum. and try to top deck a threat. Like, let's just rip a frog off the top. You know, acceptable. Nickel Emissary. Emery. Oh, they needed to warp the Emissary to play the Emery. Got it. So this... they've got Pinnacle Emissary in the yard, so I have to Strategic Betrayal now. Stop them from casting that. Springleaf is fine. Am I going Hallowed Fountain to try to get set up for pest control? Or am I going Undercity because I need to find stuff? I think I'm going Undercity to try to find a frog or a Murktide. But maybe I was supposed to consign the Springleaf and then have like Sink into Stupor to bounce the second Springleaf. Give you this because it speeds up my clock. I still have interaction. Bubble's fine. Now we get the white source in case we top deck the pest control. It's pretty all right. Back in for 4. Crack Bobble? Oh my god, they do. I was not expecting them to actually crack that. I thought you'd force it, but your line was better. I think speeding up the clock is a very significant consideration there. Like taking me from 8 turns or whatever to 4 turns is a pretty big difference at the cost of 2 cards when I already have like the knowledge that one of their cards is uncastable and I've got 3 answers in hand for 3 other cards that they could draw into. Plus there's a likelihood that they hit like another thought cast or another thought monitor, my clock sped up even more. I think it's worth it. But yeah, nice little Dimir trophy there. Love to see it. Some of the highlights of the deck I thought from that league. Bowmaster ended up being pretty good. Kaito was... We saw Kaito against the Reanimator deck. It was good. Harbinger we never saw. Murktide was pretty solid. I'll never financially recover. The Edict, little awkward. They were good. Like, we won a game off of a Kappa Cannoneer because of strategic betrayal in the main. So can't really complain there. I don't know, like, this list to me feels like it doesn't do anything broken or absurd. It doesn't have like these ridiculous oops I win draws. But as long as you see your second land, the floor of the deck feels very, very good. It feels very consistent. It feels like you've got the interaction for everything. It's just a matter of keeping hands that allow you to cast the interaction or to find the interaction. But it seems very flexible, and I like that. Let's take a screenshot for the social media clout.